Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having an incredible day, because today's Cowboys news is the kind of blockbuster story that can completely reshape a season and send shockwaves across the entire NFC. The Dallas Cowboys are making headlines once again, and this time it's all about a full-blown run game revival that could finally push this team over the playoff hump. Reports and league buzz are swirling around a massive move that would bring Alvin Kamara to Dallas. And if this happens, it instantly changes the identity of this offense, the balance of this team, and the way opposing defenses prepare every single week. This isn't just another signing or another name added to the roster. This is about dominance, playoff football, and the Cowboys making a clear statement that they are done relying on just one way to win games. For years now, Cowboys fans have been asking the same question every postseason. When the weather gets cold, when the games get tighter, and when defenses take away the obvious passing lanes, can Dallas run the football when it really matters? We've seen flashes, we've seen moments, but we've also seen this team struggle to consistently impose its will on the ground against elite competition. That's why the idea of Alvin Kamara in a Cowboys uniform is so electrifying. Kamara isn't just a running back. He's a chess piece, a matchup nightmare, and one of the most versatile offensive weapons of his generation. Pairing him with the Cowboys' existing talent could unlock a level of offensive flexibility that Dallas simply hasn't had in recent playoff runs. When you talk about Alvin Kamara, you're talking about a player who has built his reputation on doing everything at an elite level. He can run between the tackles with patience and power, he can bounce outside with explosiveness, and he can line up as a receiver and torch linebackers and safeties in the passing game. Defenses can't key in on one tendency because Kamara doesn't have one. He's equally dangerous on first down, third down, in the red zone, and in 2-minute situations. That kind of all-purpose threat is exactly what playoff football demands, where every yard is contested and every mistake is magnified. Now imagine Kamara behind a Cowboys offensive line that, while no longer the dominant force it once was in its prime, is still built to move bodies and create lanes when the scheme is right. Dallas has invested heavily in the trenches, and when the run game is emphasized, this line can still be one of the better units in the league. Kamara's vision and cutting ability would pair perfectly with zone concepts, allowing him to find creases, make defenders miss at the second level, and turn modest gains into explosive plays. That's how you flip field position, control the clock, and keep elite opposing quarterbacks on the sideline. This move would also take immense pressure off the Cowboys' passing attack. Dak Prescott has carried a heavy load over the years, often being asked to win games with his arm even when defenses are clearly geared to stop the pass. With Kamara in the backfield, defenses can't afford to play light boxes or drop 7 and 8 defenders into coverage every snap. They would be forced to respect the run in a real, meaningful way. That opens up play action, creates easier throwing windows, and allows Dak to play more efficiently rather than heroically. That's a recipe for winning in January, not just putting up stats in September. One of the most exciting aspects of adding Alvin Kamara is what it does to the Cowboys' red zone offense. This has been a sticking point in big games, where drives stall and field goals replace touchdowns. Kamara is deadly near the goal line because he gives you so many options. You can run power, you can use misdirection, you can throw him quick passes in space, or you can motion him out wide and force the defense to reveal its coverage. That kind of versatility makes defensive coordinators lose sleep, especially when the margins are so thin in playoff games. From a strategic standpoint, this would signal a philosophical shift for the Cowboys. It would show that this team is serious about building an offense that can win in multiple ways, not just when everything is clicking through the air. Championship teams almost always have balance, and when one phase is taken away, they have the ability to lean on another. Alvin Kamara gives Dallas that safety valve, that reliable answer when the passing game isn't flowing. Instead of forcing throws or abandoning patience, the Cowboys could simply hand the ball to a proven playmaker and let him do what he does best. Let's talk about the psychological impact as well, because that matters more than people realize. When opposing teams see Alvin Kamara lined up in the backfield wearing a star on his helmet, it changes the way they prepare. Defensive game plans become more complex, practice reps are divided, and focus is stretched thinner. Linebackers have to worry about run fits and coverage responsibilities. Safeties have to decide whether to cheat up or stay deep. That hesitation, even for a split second, is all an elite offense needs to exploit weaknesses. Dallas hasn't always been the team that forces opponents to react. This move would flip that dynamic. There's also the question of playoff identity. Every year, we see teams that look great in the regular season but struggle when the game slows down. Playoff football is more physical, more disciplined, and far less forgiving. The ability to run the ball consistently becomes invaluable, especially when weather, crowd noise, and defensive intensity ramp up. Alvin Kamara has proven he can thrive in those environments. He's been there, he's done it, and he understands what it takes to produce when everything is on the line. That experience alone would be a massive asset to a Cowboys locker room hungry for postseason success. Another underrated element of this potential move is how it could extend drives and control tempo. One of the best ways to protect a defense is to keep it fresh, and nothing does that better than a sustained run game. Long, methodical drives wear down opposing fronts, shorten the game, and limit the number of possessions. With Kamara, Dallas wouldn't just be running for the sake of balance. They would be running to impose their will, to dictate pace, and to slowly break down defenses over 4 quarters. That's the kind of approach that wins ugly games in January, the kind of games that often decide who advances and who goes home. From a fan perspective, this is the kind of move that reignites belief. Cowboys fans have been waiting for a clear sign that the front office is willing to go all in to maximize this championship window. Adding Alvin Kamara would send that message loud and clear. It would say that Dallas isn't content with being good, with making the playoffs, or with winning division titles. It would say that the goal is a deep postseason run and that every weakness is being addressed aggressively. That kind of ambition resonates throughout an organization, from the locker room to the fanbase. Of course, there are always questions about fit, workload, and longevity when it comes to a running back with Kamara's mileage. But that's where smart usage comes into play. Dallas wouldn't need Kamara to carry the ball 30 times a game. They would need him to be efficient, explosive, and impactful in key moments. Rotating him, using him creatively, and keeping him fresh for the most important games would be the priority. When used correctly, Kamara's skill set ages better than most because so much of his value comes from vision, instincts, and receiving ability, not just raw speed. Think about the ripple effect on the rest of the offense. Receivers benefit from lighter coverage. Tight ends find more space in the middle of the field. The offensive line gains confidence knowing that the run game is a true focal point, not just a complementary piece. Even the defense benefits, because playing with a lead and better field position allows pass rushers to be more aggressive and opportunistic. Football is the ultimate team sport, and one elite addition can elevate every unit when the pieces fit together correctly. This potential move also fits the broader narrative of the Cowboys learning from past playoff disappointments. Time and again, we've seen games where Dallas falls behind early or struggles to adjust when the original game plan is disrupted. A player like Alvin Kamara gives you built-in adaptability. If the pass rush is overwhelming, you lean on screens and quick touches. If coverage is tight downfield, you attack underneath. If you need to bleed the clock, you run with confidence. That flexibility is invaluable when you're facing elite coaching staffs and disciplined defenses. There's something else that shouldn't be overlooked, and that's leadership. Alvin Kamara isn't just a star on the field. He's a respected voice in the locker room, a player who understands preparation, accountability, and professionalism. Bringing that presence into a Cowboys locker room filled with talent could help sharpen the edge of a team that knows it's capable of more. Sometimes, the difference between falling short and breaking through is having veterans who set the standard and demand excellence in the moments that matter most. As this story continues to develop, one thing is clear. The idea of a run game revival in Dallas isn't just wishful thinking. It's a strategic response to the realities of playoff football. It's about balance, toughness, and adaptability. Alvin Kamara embodies all of those traits, and his addition would instantly change how this team is viewed across the league. Defenses would panic, game plans would shift, and the Cowboys would step into every matchup knowing they can win in more than one way. Cowboys fans have been waiting a long time for a move that feels like the missing piece rather than just another adjustment around the edges. This feels different. This feels like a commitment to dominance in the trenches, to controlling games rather than reacting to them. If Dallas truly adds Alvin Kamara, the message is unmistakable. The Cowboys are building for playoff football, not just regular season headlines, and they are ready to challenge anyone who lines up across from them. As always, we'll continue to track every update, every report, and every reaction as this story unfolds. Make sure you're locked in, because if this run game revival becomes reality, the entire landscape of the NFC could shift overnight. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more in-depth Cowboys news and analysis like this, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.